Hello and welcome to Case Management 204, How to Complete the SPDAT or F-SPDAT in ServicePoint. I'm your trainer, HMIS System Lead, Tricia Cano. During this training, we will be working in the Client Point module within ServicePoint. The SPDAT or F-SPDAT assessment tool can be located on the client's record within the Measurements tab. We will only demonstrate how to input the data into ServicePoint correctly. This training is not about how to actually complete the SPDAT or F-SPDAT assessment on your client. The acronym of SPDAT stands for Service Prioritization Decision Assistance Tool. The F in F-SPDAT means it is the family's version. Please note that if you have any questions, feel free to contact us via email at hmisupport@cir.org or by phone or text at 602-908-3605. Thank you, and let's get started. After logging into the system, you should get into Enter Data As mode if necessary for your workflow. So I'm going to do that now. And then you should also get into Backdate mode if applicable. So if I'm going to do someone's initial SPDAT in HMIS, but the SPDAT was done, a few days ago, I need to backdate to the day that the SPDAT was actually done. In this case, I'm going to backdate to January 15th, 2015, because this is training and I want to show a progression of time. Once you have those things in place, go to Client Point and search for your client in the system. You can search for them either by name or by client ID number. Once you have your client record open, locate the tab called Measurements and click on it. Then once you're on the Measurements tab, click the Add New Measurement button. Here's where you can choose which tool you want to use, SPDAT for singles or F-SPDAT for families. You can see it automatically fills in intake because this is the first SPDAT ever done on this particular client, and it fills in with my backdate date. Once I ensure these are correct, I can click the Continue button, and once I do that, all the domains of the SPDAT will open below. There are a couple ways that you can fill out the scores that your client received on the SPDAT. You can either hover on each score and it'll tell you what that score means. Or if you're not as familiar with the tool, you can click on this little magnifying glass to the left of the domain name and it'll open up every score and all their definitions, and you can take your time and read through it and be sure and select the correct score. Once you collect the score, you can just click Submit and move to Next, and it will open the next domain on the list. And you can continue to do that until you've completed the whole thing. Another option, however, is if you're very familiar with the tool, or if you have the paper version right in front of you, you can just go through and fill in what their score was for each domain. Please note that as soon as you choose a score, the little notes field can open up and you can type in a note about this particular domain. So I'm going to just go through and put in some scores. Once you reach the bottom, it will give you your total and the scoring range that they fell into. Then you can click Save and Exit. Once I click Save and Exit, I am returned to the Measurements Preview pane, where you can see that the SPDAT has been done, an intake, what their score was, and that it was done on January 15th. So it is suggested that SPDAT be done at varying intervals. As I discussed earlier, initial 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, etc. So for training today, I'm going to demonstrate the 30-day SPDAT. So I need to change my back date to 1 month later. So now I'm going to pick February 15th, 2015. That's 30 days later. And then normally I would use Client Point to search for my client, but we're already here because of training. And this time, in order to add my 30-day SPDAT, I'm going to click the Add New Point of Measurement button. Not Add New Measurement, because we're not starting all over. I'm just following up on the initial SPDAT that was done. So click Add New Point of Measurement, and then use the drop-down list to choose which point of measurement you need. Please note that if you work in a permanent supportive housing project, after you get through these other increments, you should continue to do the SPDAT on an annual basis, 2 years, 3 years, etc. And you would use the point of measurement of other for those yearly increments. In this case, I'm going to say 30 days. And you can see my date matches, so I can click the Continue button, and my domains will open below. I will go through and enter the scores that my client received. Please note with SPDAT that the lower the score, the better. This means they're improving. Once you've completed all of the scoring, it will give you their total, and you can save and exit. And now I have 2 SPDATs. You would continue to do this at the suggested intervals. The nice thing about this is once you have at least 2 SPDATs completed, then the Show Summary button will become available. So click on the Show Summary button. And the top part of this will show every SPDAT that was done, the day it was done, and the score that you received on that day. If you want to print the SPDAT assessment, you can use this Print icon button in the upper right-hand corner. Another really nice thing about this is it opens up some graphs about your client. So you can see here's a nice colored bar graph, and below that is a line graph. This gets really interesting when you have at least 3 or 4 or 5 SPDATs done and a long time has passed. You can really see the progress that your client has made, and it can be very nice to share that information with them. Click Exit to get out of the Show Summary screen and return to the Measurements Preview pane. Once you have completed your work on your client, you should always log out of HMIS for security reasons. So now let's go over a summary to reiterate some of the key information that was shared with you today. Number 1, the SPDAT or F-SPDAT assessment tools are located in the client record on the Measurements tab. Number 2, SPDAT stands for Service Prioritization Decision Assistance Tool. The F means it is the family's version of the tool. The SPDAT or F-SPDAT should be done at varying intervals. They are initial, at move, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 180 days or 6 months, 270 days or 9 months, 365 days, and other. Please note that clients staying in permanent supportive housing for longer than a year should have the SPDAT done annually and use the other option. And number 4, use the Show Summary button to print the assessment or to view the graphs of your client's progress. By following these steps, you have completed training on Case Management 204, SPDAT or F-SPDAT. As a reminder, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact us at the HMIS Help Desk via email at hmissupport@cir.org or by phone or text at 602-908-3605. Thank you, and please refer back to your training confirmation email for further instructions.